You wouldn't catch me.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. See, he's really good at that. He knows when I'm about to say something really controversial, and then he says go. But we're stacked. We got.
I'm sorry. Can you define that word,
some wine?
Zoomp.
I can pull up. What is Zoomp?
What is Zoomp? Can you define that?
A picture?
The class.
You said you're gonna pull up a picture?
No, the dictionary thing I have. The usage.
What's that?
Thing? The usage word dictionary.
The usage word. I think it's just called a dictionary.
No, it's a usage. It's a grammar book of usage words.
Yeah.
Oh,
the ones I talked about before. The grainer or something.
Zoop isn't a word.
Z-O-U-P. You sure about that? You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, that's what my boyfriend says when he wants soup. Is zoop.
Zoop? Yeah.
Zoop. I want
it's
zoop.
a word.
Zoop. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you know what? Well, fucking look it up then. I'll wait.
That's gonna be wrong.
Oh wait, we're gonna. No, I'm not gonna look it up. Look up in your stupid little your usage dictionary. Look it up.
I will.
I'm waiting.
I will.
I'm gonna do it now.
No,
Yeah, save it for the break, guys.
I'll lock this whole fucking thing down until you check it.
They might not even have it because it's a new word.
Oh, okay. My confidence
in
it
2022.
Actually, yeah, my confidence in it actually being a word is swiftly declining.
All right.
Well, anyway, we're stacked. I've got some San Pellegrino. We got some Liquid Death. We've got wine.
I have tap water.
You have tap water.
Fancy glasses.
Yeah, weird.
It's a plastic cup.
And I have my Kool-Aid.
Worn down plastic cup.
Yeah, no. This used to be covered in bats. Now it is just like one.
Really?
Smudge
It
mark.
looks like it was
just
just
a
purple cup the whole time.
No, it was covered in
Halloween
bats.
cup, yeah.
It was a Halloween cup.
That's insane.
It's like basically he's drinking probably just plastic now.
The microplastics are really.
I think they're more like macroplastics now.
Yeah,
macroplastics.
These are some full.
It's just in my blood. I can feel it every time one of those chunks passes through my aorta. You know, like passes through an atrium or whatever.
You ever find it just hard to piss sometimes?
No. Go see a doctor.
Okay.
I find it difficult to piss when I'm hard. Does that count?
No, like you ever drink so much water at night? Oh, damn. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And it's just hard to piss.
That is like the last thing I expected you to say out of all of that. That was fucking. Oh my god!
When you hard,
you hard. Yes, I also find it hard when I find it hard to pee when my dick's hard. Yes.
Yeah.
But you're saying you find it hard normally.
No. It's like you drink a lot of liquids, and then you're like, I'm just gonna relax. So you clank it out, clank.
Piss doesn't make a clank sound.
No, you clank it out. You look at some funny pictures. You clank it out, and then you have a hard time pissing because it's like too much liquids. You got to piss hard.
Do you mean after you've jerked off?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you gotta
But then I drink a lot of water beforehand.
Are you saying that you jerk off and then the cum that congeals in your hole is of a density that you have to piss it out? Like you have to.
No, it's like drinking like a whole gallon of water. Then you do that.
I mean, honestly, Matt, do you not just like interrupt your jerk off session to go piss? Like that seems like the normal thing to do there.
No, because it's done. And then afterwards, I'm like, I drank too much water.
I don't know what. I really quick. I just wanted to draw to the absurdity that we're having this conversation. Literally, like Matt has a Liquid Death, a glass, 2 bottles of wine. I've got all of these drinks, and then Ben has 1 purple cup. That's mainly what I wanted to draw our attention to. And then you started bringing us down some absurd. You also got the Doritos. Oh, it's
like
Doritos.
soda, right?
I love this shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they change their logo?
I think that might have been a
Where do you
Halloween
get that from?
one. I got it at King Supers.
Oh.
It's at the store.
It is now. Yeah, they got a new guy.
Is it in the soda section or the fancy section?
In the soda section.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a 12-pack off the shelf, you know.
It used to not
It's
be.
like in a cardboard box. Yeah.
It has yellow 5.
Well, I'm not allergic to that. I don't care.
Cane sugar. Well, because he's allergic to red.
Red 40, yeah.
Really? Specifically Red 40. What if it was Red 39?
I wouldn't give a shit. I also don't think they make that.
Well, whatever red.
It's
crazy you're allergic to a color. Usually people are just colorblind. You take it to a whole other...
Fuck, is that red? Ow, my eyes.
You really couldn't drink this wine then.
Well, they don't put red.
No, they don't put the red food dye in wine.
But it's red.
It's naturally red.
I'm allergic to the chemical.
Yeah.
You know they're actually
makes
they're
things
actually
look
gonna start
that
banning it because
specific shade of red.
Europe
Right,
bans
right.
that actually.
What?
Europe actually bans red 40.
Oh yeah, because it's also
And
carcinogenic.
we're about to start banning it.
Yeah, it causes cancer. By the way,
Man.
on top of me being allergic to it, it happens.
Yeah,
to cause
so they're
cancer.
actually going to start
That's
banning
also a man. They're just chipping away at our freedoms day by day, aren't they?
it. God
Aren't
damn.
they?
Yeah.
There's
goddamn
no
right.
freedom I treasure more than the right to be given cancer without my knowledge
Yeah.
or consent.
Then the
Yeah.
right to inject red 40 and look cool. So there's no more website.
I killed it.
It's just too much work. So if you want to donate to us, it's $6. There's a question. You can give us a question or a comment or a topic. We'll answer it on air. ko-fi.com/wrongroom. That's coffee.com/wrongroom. Also, the website for my book, that's also different.
Woo!
I also fucked that up. I don't even...
I always do this sound.
Shit, before I started talking it on air, I mean, my persona's name is in it now, so I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I don't even know if I want to get...
What would you be for Sona, Ben? What would you be for Sona?
Oh my god, that was... Did we answer that?
No.
That was one of Zwei's questions. Did we answer that on air?
I don't think so.
Whose personas were whose?
I don't think I want to answer that. I think I want you two to answer that for me.
Yeah, but
what is my
Horse.
what is-
Next question. Oh wait.
what is my persona?
What's yours?
Yeah.
You can't ask.
Shit.
You can't ask him.
We can make a poll.
Oh, what the audience's one is?
Yeah. What
I
is the
guess.
audience? Leave it
What
up
is
to
the
the
audience?
But
audience.
how do you
Yeah.
determine for
Yeah,
Sona?
I've spoken
like,
once.
is it like you just like an animal, right?
Well, the first time you look at an animal and your dick gets hard, you go, "That's the one." No, I'm kidding.
Godzilla.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like that's OP. I feel like to be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not a fox or a dog. I'm Godzilla."
No,
dude.
you
Like,
wanna be-
that's it.
No,
I mean-
it was a weird vor thing when I was a kid. As in, like, no, the Godzilla movie,
How do you feel about Yoshi?
the Godzilla, it was
You
weird.
get a little
So
tinglies
the
when you
moment-
think about Yoshi.
No,
Is that why you made him in Smash?
I made him smash? I always played Luigi.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Okay.
It's remember the
The
scene
vacuum.
of I think it was the American Godzilla that eats the regular Godzilla. There's a scene where there's a
Whoa.
Godzilla that eats another Godzilla.
The
And I was
only
like,
Godzilla I've seen is the Bryan Cranston one. Is that the one?
No, it's older. The 2000s one. It's 2000s Godzilla. The
I've
one
heard
that
about
everyone
that one.
basically hated.
Yeah.
And then they made a
'cause they're
second one, I
lame.
think, that ate that Godzilla. And that at the scene, I was like, for some reason as a kid, I was like, that's weird. And I was like, whoop.
No fucking way.
I'm not even like into vor. It's just that weird scene where Godzilla. It's like, what am I like docking or something? I don't watch docking.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding.
So
ding,
be
ding,
Godzilla.
ding.
I mean, that's
Matt admitting to liking vor.
But I don't
That's-
watch vor because it's like, why?
but that one instance.
Yeah, isn't that? I don't get it.
I mean, look.
I mean,
look,
it's
I
adolescent
could
kid.
never judge someone for being turned on by Godzilla.
That's
the first of
I'm
all.
not going to judge that either.
First
you
of
know?
all.
That's why. So I'm being truthful. That's what happened.
No, I
Monsters
appreciate the
are
truthfulness.
sexy.
It's not like
you know?
it's not like a
Yeah, they
general
are. Kaiju are
Godzilla
hot.
thing. This is
Yeah.
like I was a kid and I'm not seeing. I'm like, why to myself? I was like, why?
Yeah.
But there was that scene.
Maybe Ben should be Godzilla.
His should be Godzilla.
Yeah, and then it makes it really weird between you two.
Yeah, you just make it awkward. Yeah.
I don't even know what I would what maybe like I could see polar bear. Maybe that's just gonna associate with ice.
Yeah, because
of
I'm
the
running
game.
the Frostmommy game.
Because of the Frostmommy. Oh, what is it? Realm of the
Rhyme of the Frost Maiden.
Basement of the Frostmommy.
Yeah, Basement of the Frost Virgin.
Yeah, you gotta go Frost Virgin. You gotta go around to all the towns and collect all the tendies before Mom wakes up. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole point of that adventure. Don't look it up. Don't read the synopsis. Just run it as if that's the truth.
just run that. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't tell anybody. All right.
Bears make sense. They can grab onto.
Hmm?
You know, like
Yeah.
really grab onto you and hug you.
Yeah, bear hugs.
I was
Yeah.
at a supply house and a guy we were talking about like bears as a gay thing
Yeah.
as a description, and the guy got mad because of course it's like I'm in a trade zone, and then
Yeah.
he was like,
Yeah.
"God damn these new terms for stuff." I'm like, "Bruh."
Trade zone. Wait until they get a load of what trade means
Yeah,
in our
no,
fucking circle.
I was talking
Holy
to
shit.
another young guy, and this guy who got angry was like probably 35 in like that weird fucking zone of
Right,
a person.
right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, gay twink," and he was like, like visibly getting mad over there. It's like, God, these terms. I'm like, you don't. Okay, if you don't
Those terms have been around
terms.
since the fucking 70s.
Like you
What
don't
are
understand gay
talking
terms.
about?
Yeah, he made it sound like it was a new thing that like the
This
world's going down.
newfangled thing.
He's like 35 too. So like,
How's
he's
he
young
30?
enough.
He's 35. How has he never heard the term twink before?
Yeah,
It was bear. I was like, yeah,
I've
there's
never heard the term
there's
bear before.
Yep.
I feel like you could walk up to anyone on the street and be like, "Do you know what a gay bear is?" And they'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
for
a
the most part.
big guy.
Yeah, he was like mad that was a term.
That's funny.
And I was like, wow, insecure.
Well,
Insecure
that's
man.
also such a weird thing to all of a sudden get really mad about. It's because
Yeah.
he thinks about Bara fucking daddy in his.
Yeah, he was like, oh, that's a no
because he's a
gay
very
term?
straight bear furry. Extremely straight.
I might be a furry, but I must stress that I am straight. It must be known.
This
Fuck.
is important for my self-image.
It's extremely important.
But yeah, Godzilla for me.
So what? I'm down
All
with
right,
that.
yeah,
That's a
no,
fucking
valid.
sick.
I mean,
Sona.
based on your parameters, it'd be that.
That's a sick ass Sona.
You don't have one?
As I was saying, I was wanting you guys to make your
I guess
assessment.
I'll just throw out, because I mean this whole thing started with me not wanting to share my website, but like if you go to campfire.bio/soup or horse, like you're trying to make a choice between soup or horse, you can find all my stuff. And yeah, I don't know. Good luck. Look at whatever you want. I'm not responsible. I gave you the site, and I've kind of implicitly warned you that you might not like what you see.
You found it. Woo!
You found it. Woo! You like the game stuff. All the game stuff's on there. Link to the podcast is on there. Games are on there. I released a new vampire game, like a one-shot. There's a game called Lasers and Feelings. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No.
So that's so funny, because I was fucking talking to Will, and Will is like, every RPG PDF, no matter how obscure you can think of, he has it in Drive. And big OSR guy and stuff, and he's the one who introduced me to Lasers and Feelings. And I brought it up to him, I'm like, yeah, I was just at work, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm making a vampire hack in Lasers and Feelings. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, what do you mean? I swear to God that he's the one who introduced it to me. But that was so long ago, and it's also been so internalized into like the canon. Like if you're a rules light role player, you've played Lasers and Feelings. It started with it was basically like a Star Trek send up one shot sort of thing, based on a song by like the Double Clicks, who were this really like just shitty acoustic singer-songwriter nerd band that I've seen live, and it was even worse live. Yeah. So that was unfortunate, but no, I did it's a vampire game. It's called Man and Beast, and now I'm redoing my vampire LARP rules, my 13 to 100 player one. So lots of vampires. 'Tis the season.
What's your like?
I
Did you
always
had like
associate
don't do
vampires with
this?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
The cranberries, the stuffing, yeah. It's all very vampiric.
Yeah, I mean, and feast.
No,
in
I mean, there's a bunch of
general,
white people cooking, so there's no garlic.
Yeah,
There's no anything,
No seasoning. Yeah.
no seasoning. What'd
Yeah.
you ask?
What?
What'd you ask?
I don't remember.
All right. I put up a couple things on there, a couple more things on there. So trawling through the dredges of my internet presence is at least going to be rewarding somewhat, I guess.
I was gonna say, did you add like don't do this sections of like?
Oh yeah, like the OSHA, the safety segment.
Oh, are we going to segue into that now?
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. I was
Oh.
saying, did you add like when you're running this game, don't do this, and you have like a weird rules that you have to explain?
No.
You don't have that?
What? No.
I don't know. It's just like don't go to Wendy's on a Wednesday or something.
Yeah, you're talking. Oh,
Yeah.
that is the segue.
Yeah.
You are segueing into safety tools.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I don't know the safety tools.
I mean, hey, get this, people who are listening. These two, Ben and Matt, these two beautiful souls have never. I was like, hey, you've heard of the X card lines and veils and stuff, and they're like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that means that's when I realized I'm like terminally online.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucked.
Totally.
Like the fact that I know about that is I'm like, uh-oh. But basically, it's this idea that you need to have safety tools when you're playing an RPG in case you bring up things that are uncomfortable at the table. So the X card is an example where there's an X in the middle of the table, and if you tap the X, that means you need to fade to black or hurry up the scene or skip what you're doing altogether. Or lines and veils where you set up ahead of time like, hey, you can't cross these lines in the role play for me, or these things you got to fade to black or whatever. Just safety tools, because there's like harmful things that you could role play or bring up at the table. And the reason why I thought about it recently, because I don't use safety tools, I think they're dumb. But the thing that I thought of that it came up recently is Vampire the Masquerade. They had like 2 whole pages about bleeding, where it's like the game and real life like bleed together, and like this whole thing, there's all this discourse on it, and I'm like, am I like one of the only people on this site who can separate the game from reality?
Right.
I mean, we've all had games bleed over into real life by getting into giant fights,
Right.
but that's different.
Well, that's because it was already in it. It wasn't even bled in the game. It was just like, I had a problem with this. The game was continuation of the problem, and then afterwards the problem doesn't go away.
Right.
So the game didn't do anything except exacerbate that something was already there.
Yeah. It was a nice model in which to funnel our hatred.
Yeah, but it like I've always saw it because I joked about how, because Ben and I had a conversation with it. Which game was it that said "Don't be racist"?
Oh,
Which one was it? It was one of the new books.
Pathfinder says that that's for organized play mostly.
I mean, I know. Well, yeah, that was the thing.
Is it Witchlight?
Yeah, that was one of the Radiant Citadel.
Radiant Citadel. In the beginning, it
Yeah.
says "Don't be racist."
They also had
Don't
wheelchair
be
accessible
racist,
dungeons, and we talked about that
I am a
before.
building.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
well,
the beginning of Radiant
I
Citadel.
used the
Yeah.
rules. I
That's
made
crazy.
I had a wheelchair when I played Styres' game.
Yeah.
From that rule someone did, I could use a battle wheelchair.
Yeah.
Which is badass.
Which it was
But-
hilarious in that specific context of the Matt doing.
I made
that,
it. Yeah,
you know.
he said we're gonna be like a game where we're doing towers, and I'm like, okay, I'll put some.
I'm gonna be like, you're gonna roll up to the foot of the stairs and be like,
Yeah, I made them a marine so they could just climb if they have.
that's
to.
pretty basic.
Yeah.
We talked about that all before, about how it's like, yeah, unfortunately, would it be bad if technically, it's like, hey, I'm an orc and this fighter's in a wheelchair and I'm losing, so I'm just gonna rip him out of the wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, even a wheelchair.
Well, it
accessible
would be
person shouldn't have a
dishonorable,
problem
but on the
with
other hand, it would be funny. So
it
Yeah.
would be really funny. But yeah, no, I mean, Radiant Citadel says don't be racist or whatever. It's usually, I don't throw a big deal about this stuff like some people do. Like, some people are like, oh, my book said not to be racist or fascist, or like, they're like, oh, there's safety tools in my book. This means this is a bad game and the SJWs are winning. That's not what I say at all. I don't care.
Yeah.
It could be in there.
Yeah.
Cool, whatever. It doesn't
that.
matter.
Yeah, that's what we
you
were saying.
know,
We were talking. I was
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
the fact that they felt like they needed to write this was funny, but like,
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
It says a lot about their
Bye.
user base.
yeah.
That's basically
or how
what
they
it
view
was.
their user base. Also, yeah.
I think and I think that's why I wanted to bring it up with you two, this whole idea, these safety tools and these disclaimers and things, because online the TTRPG discourse is like, oh, like, there's a lot of like, these are good, like get the bad people out, do whatever this, and like I get it, but I have a feeling that like the reason why they are saying these things is because you go to Adventures League and people are like saying slurs.
Yeah,
you know what I
totally.
mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No, this is a way for
Well, 'cause
someone
who
to
goes
appeal to authority.
Who goes to Adventures
Right.
League?
that's
People without a
another
group,
good point.
people
Yeah.
without enough friends to form a group on their own.
But then like,
Who played the game? Yeah.
yeah.
but then like I feel like it's saying these things like if you putting in safety tools, it must be something that a sphere of role playing like Adventures League that I haven't had much participation with, because when you're with friends, you don't really need safety tools or don't be racist things or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're playing with a bunch of randos, there's a reason why Paizo was like, hey, guess what? Please don't rape anyone in our game, please.
Yeah.
Because we're like,
Because it keeps happening.
because it keeps happening.
Yeah.
So is it like
Elf
is
slave, what do is not constructive play.
elf slave what do?
Yeah. It's like
what would an elf slaver do?
Yeah, it's instead of appealing to like a conversation where it's like, hey, we need to talk about something serious, they build a system where someone could say, dude, that's the X. You don't have to have this whole conversation.
Right.
You could be like, oh, you might not be aware, random person who's making slurs. Slurs are not allowed.
Yeah, it says in the Pathfinder rulebook on page blank that you can't be saying these slurs. Yes, we made it a rule because it's enough of a problem.
I think it's that, because it's easier to appeal to
Yeah.
authority than appeal to like sympathy or empathy.
No, that's a good point.
Hey, could you not be racist? Well, we're all playing the game together. Come on, buddy.
Come on,
we're all
guys,
playing the game.
come on. Yeah, because if you're
you
playing
know
with,
the rules.
if you're playing with friends and someone's being
No
racist
cheating.
at the table, you could be like, "Hey, knock it off." You know what I mean?
But even then,
Like,
you might not because you might be just a person that.
But now
might
in
not
Adventures
want
League, can be
That
like,
is a good point,
hey,
actually.
no cheating. Point at the don't be racist rule.
yeah. Yeah, it's no, that's all.
There's
No.
a reason for it, which is why it's just funny that it has to be said because it's. I don't.
Yeah.
To me,
It is. I
think
don't think of
the conversation I think with Ben was the fact that they had the fact that it wasn't a cultural thing that they felt like they needed to say because like a general communication thing would be, everyone talk about what they don't do or don't want in a game
Yeah.
should be addressed. Nothing to do with the game. Whatever game you're playing, you play Monopoly, and you could. It's like to me, it's like Monopoly said don't do slurs in the game. Like that.
No, you.
Oh,
you
we're
should be
playing
saying
Monopoly.
slurs.
I'm saying
Yeah,
slurs.
yeah,
That,
no.
to me,
That is the game where
that's what it feels
That's
like.
mandatory. Yeah.
That's what it feels more like. Is a
But they have the
game is
old
telling me
timey
how to
ones.
like, not how me to do it, but has to feel like it needs to address something that should already be a dynamic that's addressed during game. But you could feel
Yeah.
like there's a reason why, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're in a fantasy game. I'll just say with slurs because I'm in a fantasy game. So there's obviously a veil people are doing, but it's just I see why, but it's also like Monopoly's telling me not to be racist.
Yeah. Right. And here's the thing. Again, I want to stress that it's like I'm not really concerned one way or another. I'm not one of these chuds who are like,
I don't
it's
care it's
ruining
written.
games. It's like, because obviously there is a need for it. I definitely don't need it. It seems mostly randos who need it. But you brought up the point of the fact that it's like, what if people are doing something at the table that you're not particularly comfortable with, they can't bring it up. But then there's also the question of like, so I think one of the most, you don't see it a lot nowadays. I remember back in the 3rd edition days when it's like, how are these fantasy races racist against each other? Do you remember that stuff?
Yeah.
That happened like all the time, especially when Drow came up,
Yeah.
and like it doesn't come up very much anymore. And it makes you wonder like, of course, I guarantee that there is some stuff that got said or some things that got done that made people at the table go, "Ugh, that is too many parallels to like how shit actually goes down." I don't want to,
Yeah. Well, and like, I mean, honestly, that just reminds me of the stuff in my game where it's like, to one of the NPCs, only one member of the party is a person,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because we're a
And that's-
monster party.
Yeah, exactly. And
We're
that's
Monster Mash.
But that's what the setting's written as, like that's
Yeah, but I mean,
people are shitty in it, especially a fucking aristocrat, necromancer.
when did
right?
Rime of the when did Tendies of the Frostmommy come out? Was it before or after Radiant Citadel? Because that's when a lot of
Way before.
So a couple years before.
Way
No
before.
way.
Yeah, Radiant Citadel was like this year. Or no,
So-
last year sometime.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And because if I remember correctly, because I did read some of that book when I was planning on running it, and
Yeah.
it is like these are a bunch of backwards hicks who,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have the incest town
yes,
Yeah.
they do. They do have the incest
explicitly,
town,
which is destroyed in our game.
yeah,
Oh, the
Oh!
They
I didn't
died
know
in
he
a
hit
laser.
that. I didn't know that.
yeah. I didn't know that either. I would have tried to keep it around.
Keep that going, bro.
No, I like it. No,
I think. Well, also what they've done too is you would know more about the playtest stuff, but their withdrawal from inherent evil races.
Yeah. Well, except for like Knowles, but like it's like, oh yeah, they're inherently evil because there's a demon screaming in their heads all the time,
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, but I think they're
That's
like
true.
withdrawing from like Drow and other
Yeah.
races that would be considered inherent.
I think the
evil.
removal of alignment in general is really nice. Because I mean, that's the thing I've always hated from a storytelling perspective is because some people are like, oh my god, I need my like evil, bad guy races, and it's like, I don't know, the world is always a lot more complicated than that. It's like I don't know, go read Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Is there really any good guys or any bad guys in that
Watch the
entire
news.
series? Not really. Yeah, watch the news. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess that's the other thing is not only do we often, I'll speak from my perspective, not only do I usually play with friends where these conversations don't need to be had typically, and when they do, we have them, but also it's like our group's also a little deeper than I guess the average Adventures League party is, which is, conflicting motivations or like, kind of a gray area sort of thing.
Right.
Unless we're just literally doing some murder hobo stuff.
Right. Like when we're cops.
Oh yeah, like when we are police. Like in track marks. Yeah, kind of, yeah, that sort of thing. which always track marks. I should have put safety tools in track marks. What I should have done, because there's not a session I've played tested with that doesn't end up with some abuse of power, which is kind of the point.
Yeah.
that's the
But
point, yeah.
you know,
Safety tools. If you feel unsafe, don't play this game.
yeah, read this book and be like, I guess it's also because like,
Am I okay with being a foot soldier of fascism?
yeah.
Hell
No? Yeah, hell yeah. Easy, bet. I love Stormtroopers.
I mean, as we
I
talk about
love Star Wars.
all the time, but Dogs in the Vineyard is like, if you don't, if you have a safety tool, you probably shouldn't be playing Dogs in the Vineyard.
Well, and we talked about Vincent Baker fucking disowning that game because he's like, oh my god, it's like such an imperialist game, and it's like, yes,
it's very
that's
clear.
the point. It's I read it as a critique of imperialism.
Yeah.
The fact that you couldn't tell that from and you designed the motherfucker makes me, makes me a lot less confident in your
the
design
fact that,
abilities.
yeah, he thinks it's enough to not be for people to get it.
Yeah.
I think he might have.
Yeah.
I don't even know exactly the statement he had. My guess is that he thought it wasn't enough. Probably.
Probably.
Probably it was, but then he might have heard about like fringe people playing it and then thought, oh, now it's a bad game.
You can never
Right.
make a satire strong enough to prevent like really fringe people from thinking it's their thing.
Right.
Know? Like,
You really
that's-
can't.
How many fucking people that are directly critiqued by Fight Club love it?
That's fucking American History X.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
big one.
God, yeah.
Which is it, because I've seen before on like 4chan or whatever, people just playing like the scene,
Right.
where he's
The
curb
curb stomp?
stomping people. Yeah. And it's just like I don't know how you live in a world where that's like the best part of the movie. That's like the saddest part of the whole film. It's like a
Right.
culmination of
Yeah.
like the corruption of this guy's soul.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, I'd hate to live in some of these people's heads. Speaking of satire, Hard Drive posted a banger.
Oh.
And I don't know if you've heard of Blue Sky, which is like the Twitter replacement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of them.
So
Those threads.
they started posting on Hard Drive, and it's a tattoo parlor refuses to do swastikas, iron crosses, triforces, which is incredibly big.
Forces.
But then the whole reply is like people being like, "Wait, I understand the first two, but why the Triforce? I can get behind it not allowing hate symbols because it brings a good message, but banning the tacky nerd stuff is where it lost me." And people had to be like, "It's satire.
It's a joke.
It's satire.
This is like The Onion,
Maybe
video game theme.
It's-
Well, actually, Hard Drive.
I forgot about Hard Drive.
Hard
I
Drive
always,
is
general.
I always look at the Hard
Yeah.
Times. I forgot about Hard Drive.
Right, Hard Times is
Yeah.
punk in general. Hard Drive is video games. Yeah.
correct."
Yeah.
What I love about the Hard Times is how whenever they run out of articles, they always have in their back pocket a pop punk article and a straight edge article.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually straight edges won't shut up about it, and pop punk frontman has a 14-year-old girlfriend. Those are
Yeah.
usually the
Look, you got some old reliable.
you got old.
Yeah.
This is my 14-year-old girlfriend, old reliable. No,
Yeah, it's literally like band.
The older I get, the more they
specific
stay the
band
same.
reference and then punk joke.
Yeah.
All time cops are time bastards.
I think
That's like
I saw
I
that.
love that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Holy shit. I guess maybe just to sum up that topic, I guess I don't know. I feel lucky that I can like I don't know approach because that example of that satire is like the complete other direction, right? It's like not even necessarily taking it seriously, and I love it and it's supporting me, but it's like I'm really concerned about this. When either way, it's like it demonstrates a complete lack of ability to like separate thoughts or thoughts from actions or fiction from reality, or like there's no room for like critical analysis. I think that's the thing that worries me, and I've talked about that before, is it's like there are things that come up in like role-playing games that we would never get to experience. Most people aren't going to kill someone. You know what I mean? You kill people all the time in tabletop role-playing games.
Right.
And you can bring up a lot of kind of things about that. And then if it's like, oh, well, I don't want to kill people in TTRPGs, well, first of all, good luck. But second of all, it's like,
Right.
it's like, shit, I mean, you're going to have to never ask yourself some questions about how that makes you feel and why, I guess.
I mean, honestly, it is difficult because, there was one. I was going to say there was one game where I did my best to not kill people, and I do want to stress that I put a stress on the word people. But that was in the game with Damikos, and it's because both morally and in every other way, he was a coward.
Right. Yeah.
Primarily, he was an all right guy, but mostly he was a coward.
He was an okay guy. Total coward.
I think
Yeah,
with the topic
yeah.
of safety, though, it does go in a conversation that I talked to Ben a lot about, is what you think is obvious to the world is not. Like, what your circle of
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah.
Because I had that conversation daily with my apprentice who asked, he's just like, these basic stuff we do for people, I swear I knew in childhood. And how does no one else know it? I'm like, because you don't. It's not what you know. I've told him several times. He's like, I'm just that surprised. I'm like, what you know is not what everybody else knows.
Yeah.
Man.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. Like, even like all these RPG games, because I won that one date I talked about where I didn't realize how much D&D I've consumed.
Right.
And I started talking about like, oh, this is interesting. There's a history of this thing and there's a history of that thing. Oh, I played that game. You should play this game. And I was like, oh my God, holy shit, I'm a fucking nerd. Yeah. Like, obviously I'm on this podcast.
I never knew.
Holy
but like,
shit. Yeah.
how much? Because like, I don't read into it that hard. Like, I just, a lot of consume it just passively.
Yeah.
Unless I do like certain things myself. More like historically, I will consume a lot of stuff. But then like how I was like, oh, this edition and that edition. And then 4th edition did this interesting. And I was like, at that discussion, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I knew.
Yeah, she's played like a dozen 5th edition games.
Started in
spread out over
COVID.
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Like a
I
lot
like
of
5th
people.
and
Yeah.
I like homebrew games and I like 5th. I was like,
Well, I
but
mean,
you could
that's-
play other
that's,
games. And
Yeah.
like, it's like, I don't
I
know.
was gonna say,
I've
homebrew
heard
games and 5th go
Pathfinder's
together,
really
you know.
different. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. Like, Pathfinder's not V2, V1.
You just got to turn your brain on for 5 seconds. You just got to be able to do basic math for once. That's all.
Yeah.
But like, I think the idea of like, why aren't these people having this conversation? And then you go out to like, a bar or you talk to someone, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm reading the amount of brain cells like just real time.
I think that pointing that out, that probably changed my opinion on the whole thing, because it is true. I'm topic entirely from the what's the deal? Why are people like this? It's like, yeah, because I have a completely different perspective from everybody else.
Yeah, and I think it's especially Adventure League stuff where it's like, it's nice to appeal to authority. Like, hey man, we don't do it this way, and you don't have to say, oh, we don't do it this way in this group. We go, hey, there's a creed of this game,
because you have all of these different perspectives that are coming together unchecked.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to have those things, and okay, I've come around on safety tools.
That's-
I'm with
that-
it.
I
I'm
mean,
with
they're
it. I'm
definitely
here.
good for randos. Like that feels like the ideal environment is like, these people don't know each other. They haven't felt each other out.
I guess that leads to another question. Then you're right, but that leads to another question, which is, how many people are playing games with randos? I know that con games are big, and I know like people play with randos on Roll20 a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like looking for group stuff, and it seems like that's a lot of where a lot of bad situations happen too.
It does.
Well,
Which
one
is why
bad person
again,
floating around in a lot of groups, because
they can ruin a ton of games. Yeah, one bad person can ruin a ton of games. Which again, I think the interesting thing you brought up about appeal to authority, I think, is huge. But making it an authoritative, it's against the rules to bring these things up or be like a shitty person or not account for each other's, needs or whatever at the table. But I mean, like, what I'm trying to ask is like, how much do you think that is the norm? Because I kind of hinted at that the fact that they felt like they needed to include it. I don't think there's a lot of like fascist hogs who were like, oh, this is like a direct assault on me, and it's like, no, I don't think it is. I think it's just, in general, people don't do that.
I mean,
I
we
think
have a
it's-
very male-oriented games.
Yeah.
If we had more female mixed groups, we probably would understand more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
that's
actually.
true.
That's actually a good
Because
point.
how people act in different groups.
We don't really have, I mean, within a friend group alone, you don't have too many different perspectives because
Yeah.
you're friends, because you have very similar perspectives
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah,
you know?
I think we're not like
We're also
the
a
most
bunch of-
diverse.
most of us are also white dudes, so that also doesn't
So
help things.
imagine if like way more diverse group of people where we might joke about something we wouldn't have in other groups.
That's a good point. No,
So then
that's another very good
There's a
point.
lot of reasons why
I
they
think,
have
I think it's also partially that specific community of people like doing this meeting random strangers for it is sort of particularly prominent, especially on online places, because like that's who's posting looking for group stuff, and that's also who's posting like 90% of the fucking RPG horror stories is that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, that's true. Most of it is. Most of
online
it is
stuff, I bet.
bullshit like that.
It
So
is
like
sometimes
it's one of the things is I don't think it's that many people, but I think it is like in terms of like who are doing the meeting random people to do D&D or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's just the people who do it. They have a lot of problems and they're very vocal about it because they're already posting online.
I didn't expect to come into this topic and get blue-pilled on safety tools. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah, I just find it.
I see what you mean.
As I said,
Yeah.
totally fine with it. Makes sense.
No, there's a right environment
It's
for
a
it.
weird
Yeah.
oh, they're going woke moment in your brain, but then it's also just like, yeah, for me, it's Monopoly's telling me not to be racist, and I'm like, this is funny. They have to say that, but also, the diversity of problems people are dealing with.
Yeah.
And then they shout to Hasbro and say, can you address this? Because we have to have someone to tell them no.
Right.
I think we can compromise. I think we can say it's funny and weird, but then also still have it.
That's
I
what
think
my
we get to
stance
make
is.
fun of it and have it.
That's what my stance
Well,
is.
it's,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the same time, it's
Agree
like, just like the Apple, don't use this to make nuclear bombs. Yeah, of course, I was never going to, but like, what?
Thanks, though. Yeah.
Thanks, though. But
Yeah.
also, what?
No, I mean, shit. That's so
again,
true, though.
It's a tool you don't have to use.
Yeah, and I'm glad. And as I started, I'm glad
like,
it's
like,
there.
Like you saying, yeah. You totally don't have to do it. Like, yeah, some would say, "Well, look at like what they did," and then you'd be like, "You don't have to use it."
But I can absolutely picture myself. Maybe I didn't get blue pilled on this. Maybe I'm just like, safety tools are so dumb. I'm never gonna use these. And then I literally find myself running a game in a situation where I'm like, I need some sort of, I need a tool. Because you're right. Maybe I'm running a group with a lot more diverse perspectives or newer people or, contentious things are going on that I know might,
I think
whatever.
LARPs make more sense too for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because I don't have any really experience with LARPs, but people getting in the heat of the moment, but physically, you would have to have guardrails.
You would. I was just talking shit about the whole bleeding thing that Vampire the Masquerade is talking about, where it's like, oh my god, I care so much about my character, it passes over to real life, and how dumb that sounds. But it's real.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much like, what happened to my character actually happened to me. I'm not so sure about that, but what does happen all the time is because you were live playing this character, if somebody else like insults you in character and you assault them back, it could lead to like a real fight.
Yeah.
That's probably what they're talking about too. Shit.
Yeah,
I'm just wrong
the
today.
feelings are
I just
real
got
a lot,
nothing,
yeah.
but I'm just nothing.
At the same time,
but
like
whiffs tonight from me.
I think
it's one of those things where it's like it's real, but it's also stupid, and it's stupid because it's real. Like that's.
I agree with that.
I think I heard a joke.
It's unfortunate that we have to even bring it up, but apparently we do.
Which I think I heard a discussion on this exact similar topic, which is like, why are you a method actor? Your job is to act.
Yeah, just act, motherfucker.
Just
I forget
Yeah.
who said that.
that was recently.
Ian
I heard
McClellan.
that.
That was it.
Yes, to who?
Oh, I think an interviewer, like on some British talk show.
I thought somebody said something
He
like
was
to
just
Daniel Day-Lewis or someone.
No, I
No,
think
I
it's
thi-
referencing
I think
someone
he was,
like that.
I think
Right.
someone asked him about it, and he's just like,
Oh,
you know,
is it
what's
like
his
is it hard to
technique
get
or
off
whatnot?
character or something? Is that what he
Yeah.
said?
And it's just
Yes,
he
you're
did
right.
the
You're right.
Very British description of how acting works.
Yeah, is that what it was? It was like, is it hard to like get off your character? And it's like,
No,
we're acting.
yeah, we're acting, dude. Yeah.
The
Was
fact
it
that
like
you're
on the
still in
Graham
character
Norton
is
show
a
or
problem.
whatnot, or I don't
Yeah.
know British television.
I don't remember
people.
who said it.
I
Ian
think
McKellen?
if you,
Yeah, Ian McClellan. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you said.
I think if you do have a problem playing RPGs and you do have this issue where it's like things that happen to my character or things I do in character kind of bleeds over. I feel like that's one of those cases where it's like it's kind of your responsibility to figure that out first.
Yeah.
Find
There's
more
a problem
hobbies.
here. Yeah, touch grass, my guy. You know.
I mean,
But also, like,
the fact that
legitimately,
you're sulking on it,
yeah,
you have nothing else to think about except the game.
right, yeah,
Do something else.
Right. That's probably why I think the most tension we've ever seen in the group, the most tense moments, happened during college.
yeah.
Because we had nothing else to do. That's all we did was play role-playing games. That's it. It was everything. It was life.
I don't know if it was like
For me, it
college
was,
specifically.
Well, around then, I guess. But now we're growing up.
I never really got into those arguments, so I was there though.
You did. The
Oh, yeah?
tower.
You thought that was that angry about it?
From Casey's retelling of it, yeah.
No, Matt
No?
gets intense, but in a like he's laughing at this the whole time.
I was
sort of way,
I
you
was
know?
like mad, but like not like in a serious.
We could have
way.
lied because I had like a whole image of how that went, and it was
Oh
badass.
really?
Yeah.
Do you think I was that angry about it? Were you there?
yeah, I was there.
Yeah, was I that? I think I was more like,
No, you
what
were
the fuck,
confused
dude?
Mostly.
Yeah, I was like,
Well, you were
what
confused.
tower does it look like? Is it
you were
3 or
confused.
2?
You were confused, but mostly, like, honestly, a lot of it was you were he was describing it fine.
No, he wasn't.
You were just
Don't
confused.
even get me on that.
No,
he wasn't.
I was there.
Yeah,
he
he's
described it fine. He was like,
three
yes.
guys, there's two, then there's four. And I'm like,
He was
what do
like,
you mean?
There's 3 guys at the top, but for some reason he said the tower, there's 9 guys total in tower, and it's like, how could we tell that from the outside? I understand your confusion with that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah.
but he was just saying, no, there's 3 ships, and I was like, but how do we know that? Is where your confusion came from, I guess.
Well, he was like, 3, there's 5 and 2. And I'm like, what do you mean? Do we, what? Yeah, that's what my problem.
Oh, touching the wires coming through on the audio.
Is it? I don't even hear that.
I hear the. That's fine.
okay.
But no, okay.
yeah.
So it's not how I pictured it, where you jump up off the
have
table, you
been
sock
angry-
Casey in the face.
No.
No, if I'm angry,
Wait, were
I
you
feel
not
like
there for that?
No,
no.
That was
I was not there for
Planescape.
that.
I think he was just not there.
I was
You
not
might have
there.
been that session.
I think he was just
yeah.
not there.
Okay.
I don't think it was any specific. I think he just wasn't there for that specific one.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I forget that game.
I've said before, if I've gotten angry about it, I
been a while.
usually would address it then or afterwards. Is what my MO is, because I like to think about stuff, and then I address it pretty quickly. I usually don't like.
Which is why we aren't necessarily the people that those safety tools
right.
apply to until the day we need them
Right.
and realize, wait a second.
Yeah,
you know?
for me,
But
it's
see,
like the next
thing
day. I'm
is
like,
we're all
it's gonna be
we're all
addressed.
fucking losers. So we're
Right.
never really gonna go too far into it because we're not comfortable with that ourselves.
Yeah. Whoa.
I don't
Who
know,
you
that's
call losers here? Whoa.
I'm mostly myself. Honestly, I
how are
ran.
you a loser?
Matt, do you want to describe how I ran the Grazed game?
Very sexless.
Oh, I see what you mean.
that what you mean?
That's funny. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
a grassed game. It's like literally like if I was running
It's like streamer version of its grass game.
Yeah.
I've literally
Streamer-friendly.
run like people have asked me
Advertiser
before. It's like,
friendly
hey,
Grazed
you should
game.
run like a kinky role playing game, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
because I'm sitting here to play a game. Y'all are gonna start banging. I would never run
Yeah,
a
we
grass
said that
game
before.
because it would just result in banging.
I mean-
and it's like, dog, I have sheets. I prepped. I have dice.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
like,
think it'd be
no.
funny
Quit
for you
having
to run
sex
it.
and play my game.
I think it's most specifically funny for you to run it because it's so gritty and yeah, maybe they're just like into the gore stuff, but it's just kind of like, oh, I'm about to do it, and the guy like he pulls out a knife and kills you. He's like, what are you doing? Your characters would be like, dog, it's not the right time for this. We gotta get those drugs.
Yeah.
Like you can have sex later, but we're getting those drugs.
Yeah, dude. Have sex back at the station. Have sex back at the. You know, I've been nothing but wrong tonight. So let's go to something I'm right about.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I'll defend it, even if it's stupid. We'll find out.
Basically, I wrote this. Drives me crazy how narrative first a lot of TTRPGs have become. When I sit down to play a game, I want to play a game, not have a shitty improv workshop.
Yeah, I actually I'm down with that. Like it's look,
I am
think,
hyperbolizing of it, I will admit, but
No, I was gonna say I think we talked about this like the other day about like Burning Wheel is great as a role playing game because it is super deep in role playing and super deep in game.
Mm-hmm.
It is both very much, you know.
yes.
And I think a lot of things fail at both categories more.
Let me
you
just
know.
add that to the list of reasons why Burning Wheel rules.
Yeah.
It's long. It's like that scroll in Dune, you know?
Yeah,
He pulls it out and he's like, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying like games specifically systems or people running games that are narrative?
There are a lot of games. Well, we were talking about we were talking about before the podcast, and I never miss a chance to trash talk Powered by the Apocalypse games.
Right.
But those are a great example where it's very much one of these types of games that's like it's rules light, the rules get out of the way, tell the story you want to tell, and really there is like a 2-step core gameplay loop, and that's it. Like if you're not
it's like
structured and
watching
telling a really good story, you're not
cutscene,
playing. Yeah,
kind of, and
yeah.
then you have quick time events.
It's the QTEs. Yeah,
Yeah.
TTRPGs had its QTE era in like 2015, 16.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, you're sitting there and you're like describing beautiful avenues and stuff, and you're like, I'd be great if I'm there, but I'm here.
Well, and I found that happens a lot too, even with more rules-heavy games. Well, the reason why I'm very excited for Pathfinder is because it's so board gamified.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people involved at the same time because you have a map, you have the tokens, you have the builds,
Yeah.
you have the rules.
It's built to
you know?
roll.
Right. Yeah.
That and fifth, I think, is built to like use your tool sets as much as you can.
Yeah,
Right,
I think
right.
fifth is a bit more nebulous about it, and I think that's one of the reasons people homebrew it into something that's more rules light or whatnot. Yeah.
Yes, and especially when we talk about, I think because you had brought it up the last time you ran Tendies of the Frostmommy, but I had read I just fucking love that. But I had read something about that a couple days prior, which is if you have 60 feet, if something is more than 60 feet away in D&D, it doesn't really matter,
right?
Or it's I forget
like
exactly
that.
how it is. It's like it's like there is a point where it's like the combat in it is just structured in a way that it's like you, even if you did translate it to a mat, there's things that aren't really still don't matter, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, because a lot of the core mechanics are like centered around dungeon.
Right.
But the game has become far, far less dungeon focused. Because honestly, like dungeons, mega dungeons, all that in 5th edition sort of suck. You know,
They do.
Just because of the way that the game has
bogs.
changed. You know,
It just
bogs so
bogs.
much.
It bogs like crazy.
Yeah.
I have noticed it in Rhyme as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not
Yeah.
you. I could definitely tell what is like, you know, hey, I'm just a bad GM, which you aren't. And then what's like, this is what we've got. You know what I
right.
mean? It's
And
like
I do think
a design element
Put this
thing.
closer.
Okay, closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I need to. There was a couple times where I needed to wrap things up, just like say, okay, cool, it's done. You guys won, whatever, you know.
But it's
a little bit of that, you know.
it's hard when
Yeah.
because I could tell it's a lot of how because 5th edition's adventures are written in that type of way, because I had
Yeah.
the same problem with Out of the Abyss, where there isn't any clear wrap up.
Right.
They pretty much go and do a thing, and then it kind of leaves it up to you how it gets resolved, and it kind of leads to I guess we're done, but there still needs to feel like there's something going on.
Right.
And so now I've dragged it out, and because I mean, even though I love the shit out of the Abyss, it has the same issues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, especially second half. Yeah.
Because that's why you're switching to 4th edition. I mean, movement's gonna fucking matter a whole hell of a lot when you're running 4E. Yeah.
Well, that and honestly, like the whole we mentioned this before the podcast, and we should have waited for the podcast on account of the whole thing with the even adventuring days. Like there's not long rest classes and short rest classes. Every class generally expends resources at the same rate.
It's not a bunch of people asking, can we have a short rest? 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 One encounter passing, the wizard being like, I need to sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's everyone. I've used my dailies, now we sleep.
Or,
right.
Yeah, well, and even then, long rest is so much shorter in 4th edition. It's like, short rest, 5 minutes. Long rest, 1 hour. It's meant for dungeon crawl. It's meant for going.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
I
that.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that was.
I don't think we ever ran it like
it's
that.
so much faster. Yeah,
That is way faster.
Yeah.
Are you planning on running stuff that they officially released, or are you running that one setting
I was going
that
to start with the stuff they officially released, like two of the best sort of rated adventures, or one of those two, just to see if it actually is sort of how we remember it. You know?
Tomb of Horrors. I know that one was pretty.
Not that. I would just like a shorter ones. Like I think it's like.
Dragon
Abbey?
Magazine or an Adam? Or
they're all tier 1, but yeah, I think they're Dragon Magazine.
It's Dragon
ones,
Magazine stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love.
But there's
Dude,
like
I
a
have
couple that
all
are just
the-
super well received. Like top of the rankings. Sort of people reflecting back on like, yeah, these ones were phenomenal.
That's cool.
So
Okay.
I was gonna start with those and be like, just getting back into it. Do we even like it? Or am I just looking back with rose tinted glasses or whatnot?
Right.
I mean, I liked it. I didn't.
There's
really,
a momentum that is specifically 4th has.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've mentioned this before. You see on 4chan all the time. There's people who make. There's a 4th edition general all the time because people. I don't think it's rose tinted glasses. I think it's the opposite. I think people finally got enough distance after. I mean, a lot of people who are getting into RPGs now don't realize this wasn't the first OGL debacle.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Because like that with the founding of 4th edition, that's why Pathfinder even became a thing.
Right.
And it's like there was a lot of rotten shit surrounding the development of 4th edition that gave it a bad look, and now people are looking back and be like, "Oh man, it was actually pretty good. We should have given it a chance." You know, and it's like.
But yeah, no. If those go well, I will run Zeitgeist.
I want to play in Zeitgeist,
Yeah.
so please let me know. And then that'll be fucking tight.
I think it's funny because you'd have to. I feel like you have to be like, it's almost a game that it would be hard for new people to play because it's still it's like the FOMO thing, which is like, why are you playing in this old game?
Right.
We're playing 5th right now.
Right.
You're playing 4th.
We're playing the newest one.
Yeah.
Why aren't you? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like any
The
video
newer
game
is
that comes
better,
out,
though.
someone that plays that
Yeah.
any new video game.
That has to be like a logical fallacy or something, like one of the written ones on on like a one of the
novelty bias
tablets
or-
Christopher
yeah.
Hitchens brought down from the mountain.
I mean, it
That says
is like it is a FOMO.
Yeah, it's but it's.
Well, I think it's a FOMO thing. You're
Yeah, it's
playing
like
the new
a
thing.
newer
Everyone
is
else
better.
is playing the new
Yeah.
thing. We can all talk about it.
Joneses type, keeping up with them Joneses.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think there is definitely like a novelty bias that humans have. I don't know if there's like an actual.
Yeah, you always play
special
the new
name
game
for
that
it,
comes
but yeah,
out. You're not
yeah.
really playing the old games. You can if you have that thing, but you know.
I think. Yeah, I love the old games. I'm excited for 4th.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be in.
I
That
think
shit.
it's cool. It's like the more we play games, the more we see the richness of old games,
Yes,
which is
Yeah.
great because they're like they're cohesive because they're done. You know,
Yeah.
we're not like
That
playing
is-
these like
oh,
teeter totter. You know, like modern games not being done yet. They're just we go back and we're like, this was a full thing that was done,
Right.
And now we
Yeah.
get to try it out.
I've thought about that a lot with Pathfinder First Edition. I've talked
Yeah.
about that before. Just getting all the PF1 stuff and being like, all right, I'm done.
It's so much.
Mhm.
How many? Yeah, like
well,
4 or 5.
honestly,
monster
that's
manuals?
like
Yeah.
you know
Six.
now's the time to play if you
think
want to
it was
go and
four,
play
yeah.
like the Pathfinder video games like Kingmaker Wrath of the Righteous. Now's the time.
That
because
is
they're
true.
Done,
That
you
is
know?
true, and I gotta have something to tide me over before the next Larian game.
Yeah.
Did you hear what the new Larian game's gonna be?
No.
So they're taking a break, and then they're coming back with Divinity Original Sin 3,
Oh,
which I am
Interesting. Okay.
rock hard for.
Yeah.
I am so ready.
nice.
Oh,
I sort of
God, I'm
wonder
ready.
how. Yeah, because you know it's funny. I don't even remember how 2 relates to 1 that much.
Well,
you
because
know?
there's like a 500-year difference.
Yeah,
Because the first
exactly.
one was
Yeah.
all about Bacchus Rex and all that, and
Yeah.
Bacchus Rex is a thing in the second one, but it's always like behind the scenes. So I hope they do it again because they're
Right.
just layering up the lore.
Yeah.
So you do another 500 years, stuff has changed, and there's stuff that happened in 2 that's like hinted at and kind of is responsible for what's going on.
And Bacchus Rex was supposed to be old even in 1, and then
Yes.
500 year pass and he's older. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's like his spirit.
Yeah,
Because I think he
yeah.
dies at the end of 1. And then there's a whole thing
Yeah.
about bringing. There's a whole bunch of people who are like, oh man, I wish Bacchus Rex was still around. Oh man, things were great. And then you're just like, no, they fucking weren't. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? He was crazy, dude. What are
Yeah.
you talking
Dude
about?
was insane.
Yeah, dude was insane. You got assassinated by a guy who filled a chest with all sorts of items and then used telekinesis to drop it on his head. I don't know what to...
God, I do remember how many puzzles in that game, like how many things that game were like,
Keep talking.
where you just telekinesis your teleportation cube through something that you shouldn't be able to move it through, and then you're able to go through. Like how many things were designed to be dealt with that way?
I love how
Yeah.
they account for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And access to telekinesis.
Yeah.
You could get through the whole game without it, but there is almost like a whole other game. They've built so
Yeah.
much stuff around telekinesis puzzles, and it feels fun.
Yeah,
I
it
love
really
how
does.
fun it is.
I also
Yeah.
love the whole thing of like, okay, yeah, right. Okay, cool. We've got this giant area that's a problem. I'm just going to load up on fire resistance things until I've got 101%, and then I can walk through the lava and get healed just like instantly.
It's beautiful.
I love it so
it's
much.
I mean, I think it's definitely a good break from trying to wrangle 5th edition into something playable online.
right.
Because like watching the process, and then even like, yeah, I just haven't been too much into Baldur's Gate 3, but like watching them all the changes is like I feel almost stressed playing it because I'm like all the major changes they did for 5th
Yes,
to make it
yeah.
work.
To make it
I'm
work.
like, this plays. I'm so stressed playing this because it's so much different.
Wizards should sell D&D to Larian. Just have the Larian people make the new edition. Fuck it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
actual game
I mean,
designers.
Yeah, actual for real game designers.
Well, and then I remember we were talking about the financials of Hasbro the other day, and it's like, oh yeah, the only reliably profitable subsection is Wizard of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it's
Yeah.
you kind of got to sit real. Yeah, no, Wizards of the Coast. You're right. Is their only
Yeah, I think it
profitable
was
fucking thing.
There was a very mild profit on the toy manufacture part, but yeah, mostly it was just Wizards.
Well, there's been talk that they'll just like spin Wizards off.
Yeah.
and then I don't know, bankrupt Hasbro. Because I mean, Wizards isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Because I mean, D&D is earning itself a lot of bad will. It's spending a lot of its
Right.
goodwill, but it's still going to be the biggest market share. And then Magic isn't fucking going anywhere.
Right. Oh my god.
Especially
that
when,
is
yeah,
monetized to hell and back.
it
Yeah.
is, and I don't mind it because I mean, I've played a bunch of other card games. I don't.
Yeah.
Magic's the only one I really think is well designed enough.
I look, I have one that I prefer to it, but that's been out of print for years.
Which one?
That was also made by Wizards though, and that's Kaijudo or Duel Masters back when I played
Duel
it.
Masters. I
Yeah.
remember playing that
Yeah.
back in school. Yeah.
But yeah, that's out of print because like they advertised it to compete with Yu-Gi-Oh, but it actually was like more designed like Magic. So yeah.
I remember playing that shit. That was tight.
Yeah, no, it's good, but yeah, no, Magic's not going anywhere. Basically,
No.
yeah.
And I think the thing that, to kind of get it back to PF2 a little bit, the thing that really I like about Magic's design is keywords.
Yeah.
Once you understand what lifelink means, you never need to understand any of that again. You know
Right.
what I mean? And, I think and 4th edition does this a lot too. Just tagging. Tags are like the best thing in the world. Lancer does it.
Yeah,
you know?
especially if you got like an online or computerized sort of builder or compendium or whatnot. Super nice because then you can search so much better. It's just for reference purposes.
I mean, what was
what
was the joke I was talking to you about? Like everything in Magic is either horsemanship or something else.
Oh, horsemanship or
what was the other one?
What was the other one? I forget. But yeah.
Yeah, like it's always going to be horsemanship or something else.
Oh, right. Speaking of keywords, Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
what does banding do?
Oh, fuck. It's been a while.
Banding?
So, banding is this thing where it's like when you attacked, you have other things attack with you, and then it was like all treated as like one big thing, if I remember correctly. It was kind of like how. Oh God, I actually don't quite remember. Maybe I'm thinking of something
magic
else.
thing? I don't know.
It is a magic keyword. Yeah.
So it's a keyword they got rid of. I mean, not that they got rid of, but they didn't make it an evergreen keyword. They didn't make it like a continuing thing because it ended up having a ton of complicated interaction. But
and it was like confusingly phrased.
Was. It's basically like the way I think of it is imagine a mass, but instead of amassing a token over and over again, you're amassing all of the things on your field together.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just read it. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Yeah, it was from Alpha, so yeah, it's old as shit. I'm
trying to remember the other ones. Horsemanship and something else.
Okay. Banding is a keyword ability that oh no, fucking hang on. I'm actually looking at the comprehensive rules. Banding is a static ability that modifies rules for combat. Bands with other is a special form of banding. As the player declares attackers, they may declare that one or more attacking creatures with banding and up to one attacking creature without banding, even if it has bands with other, are all in a band. They must also declare that one or more attacking creatures with bands and other attacking creatures are all in a band. The player may declare as many attacking bands as they want, but each creature may only be a member of one or more of them. So yeah, it's literally like combining creatures into one big force.
Yeah.
But the way that the comprehensive rules are fucking. It goes on and on and on, and it's just fucking crazy. I mean, I haven't played anything with banding because literally there was just stuff in alpha. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, nothing really has banding anymore. Bring back Shahrazad. That's what I want. I want Shahrazad.
Isn't that banned in every format?
It's banned in every format.
Yeah.
Shahrazad is you play that card and you like take what's left of your libraries and play a sub game of Magic. And then whoever wins that game like loses, like gains 10 life or something like that, and you go back to the main game. But you could technically Shahrazad infinitely, so you could turn one game of Magic into 5 games of Magic.
So it's Arabian Nights. You constantly sell another story in the middle of the story.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
and it's banned to hell and back, but it's so funny.
I mean, I guess if you like playing Magic, you just keep playing it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be like a plane chase thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go back to Arabian Nights, and it's like, hey, start another game,
Start another game
just
with
make it a Shahrazad thing. That'd be fun.
Actually, that would be fun as a planes chase thing. Yeah.
We were talking a lot about doing sealed earlier. I am really excited about that. Like Chaos Sealed.
Well, we can.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Oh yeah.